You need to see this clip because it may be one of the best I have seen all day. So Pete Buttigieg has always been one of the Democratic Party's strongest warriors. He is always willing to go into the lion's den and take on MAGA talking points. But today, he took it to a new level after he went on Shannon Bream's Fox News show and left her speechless on the topics of abortion. January 6th, he even calls out Trump for repeatedly breaking promises that he makes to his fan base. I want to break it all down for you. Leave a like on the video and let's jump into it.
Whether we're talking about choice and her stance on defending a woman's right to choose versus Donald Trump, who eliminated a right to choose in this country.
Well, he sent it back to the states, to be fair.
Let's be very clear. He is proud of the fact that he demolished the national right to choose in this country, period.
But there are states that are figuring this out. I mean, there are some that are, it's nearly impossible, a 6-week ban or less. But there are others, there are states in this country that allow no restrictions up until the due date of a child.
There was a national right to choose in this country, law of the land, for 50 years, which the vast majority of Americans believed was the right thing to do. But Donald Trump made a promise when he was a candidate, one of the few promises he actually kept, by the way. You know, he didn't keep his promise of 6% economic growth. He didn't keep his promise to drain the swamp.
He did have a pandemic to deal with.
But even before the pandemic, America went into a manufacturing recession, which really hurt places like where I come from in the industrial Midwest. But anyway, my point is, he broke his promise for that kind of economic growth. He broke his promise to pass an infrastructure bill, right? He said he would do that. He failed to do it. The Biden-Harris administration got it done. He even broke his promise to that January 6th mob when he said, I will be at your side when you march down to the Capitol. But he actually did keep two promises. He kept his promise to destroy the right to choose in this country, and he kept his promise on tax cuts for the rich. And if you want to know what a second Trump term would be like, I would start by looking at those rare promises that he actually managed to keep.
He did say that he wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade, but again, send it to the states where they are hashing this out
empower the states to eliminate women's access to abortion. And also, as you know, the Republican Party continues to be interested in a national abortion ban.
Which he's disavowed completely.
Yeah, he's disavowed a lot of things. I don't believe him. Because he lies all the time.
You think that his pledge that he would not pass a national ban
it's a lie.
Is one that
it's one that's going to go down with most of the promises that he's made and broken.
Let's talk about this, though.
Stellar performance from Pete Buttigieg there, or Mayor Pete. I still call him Mayor Pete. He's not the mayor anymore, but I just think it has a good ring to it. But amazing performance. He genuinely left Shannon Bream speechless a few moments there when he corrected her about the pre-pandemic numbers, the economic numbers, and also his January 6th point was perfectly inserted in there because Donald Trump did break a promise to those people that he would go there with them, and then he let them get arrested en masse after he sat back and watched everything unfold. I have another clip of Mayor Pete from the same segment, but first, let's break down a few tweets. Tim Miller from The Bulwark said, favorite parts of this exchange. 1. Pete reminding the Fox audience that Trump promised to accompany the mob to the Capitol. Great point right there, because we need to be hammering home January 6th. Never talk to a Trump supporter without bringing up the attempted insurrection of Donald Trump, the John Eastman coup memos, which I can make a video about later, and all of the things that preceded the January 6th coup attempt. And 2, Tim Miller says he likes how Bream trying to alibi Trump's economic record with a pandemic, and Pete immediately fact checks, immediately responds with pre-pandemic manufacturing recession numbers. And Mayor Pete is just so good at what he does. You guys know that I appreciate a good debate. I go out there and I debate MAGA, but Mayor Pete is just at the top of his game, and this next clip proves it even further.
Well, the false message of the RNC was that this is leading to an increase in crime.
Well,
and I think it's really important that we talk about crime.
Have been very high profile about people. If they had not been in this country illegally,
this is my
people
point,
would still
right?
be alive.
Trying to make people think that crime is up when crime is down under Joe Biden and crime was up under Donald Trump. Now, I don't know how often that gets reported on this network, so if you're watching this at home, do yourself a favor and look up the data.
Well, we invite that.
Great. So if you look this up at home, you will know that crime went down under Biden and crime went up under Trump, and I think the violent crime, for sure. So I think the really important thing to ask is, why would America want to go back to the higher crime that we experienced under Donald Trump.
Okay, but they also may...
Well, the false
Shannon Bream for a second there sounded really nervous when Mayor Pete said, go Google it at home. She said, we invite you to do that in a very meek tone. It seems like she knows that their lies just got called out in front of their hundreds of thousands or potentially millions of viewers. But Mayor Pete just perfectly summarized the Republican strategy to a T. They gaslight and they project. So Donald Trump actually had the highest crime rate under his presidency in recent history, but now they try to flip that. They lie and say that Democrats actually had the highest crime rate. They say that Democrats are a threat to democracy. They say that Joe Biden is the one who's creepy, when all of these things perfectly describe Donald Trump's presidency and Donald Trump's personality. They say that Joe Biden is the one who wants to cling on to power when Donald Trump is the one who is running just to stay out of jail. And this is what we need from Mayor Pete and from people like him. We need communicators going out there into the lion's den and communicating why Democrats are better. I understand that Fox News is barely even a news network. They're more of an entertainment network, but I still think it is important for good interlocutors, people like Mayor Pete, people like VP Kamala Harris, people like me or other Gen Z Democrats going on these stations and talking and explaining why the record of VP Harris and President Biden is so stellar, because a lot of times this information doesn't break through to the echo chambers of Fox News viewers. You guys might know some in your life, people who just solely consume Fox News and they aren't even aware of the fact patterns that we try to introduce them to. There's a clip of me talking to a Trump supporter and I explained to him what is going on in Ukraine, how we're not just sending cash, we're actually sending military equipment that helps bolster the US economy, and you could tell this man had never heard these talking points before. Was he a bad person? No, he just only consumes Fox News and OANN. So my broad point here, if we zoom out, is that Mayor Pete going into the lion's den and introducing fact patterns to people who otherwise wouldn't hear these fact patterns may be one of the best things you can do for our democracy. In other countries like Russia or China, you're not allowed to go out there and voice dissent against the opposition party if the opposition is a dictator or wannabe dictator like Donald Trump. But in our country, in our democracy, in America, we can go out there, we can voice our ideas with no repercussions, unless you're on Twitter, then Elon Musk will ban you because he has been oppressing a lot of liberals. But liberals can go on Fox News, liberals can get out there and we can voice our opinions. That's part of the thing I do at these Trump rallies. I talk to MAGA supporters who are just normal people like you and I explain to them that if they want healthcare, if they want reform in all of these institutions, then the Democratic Party is the one to do it. And I think Mayor Pete did an absolutely stellar job. Chai on Twitter said, Pete Buttigieg on Fox is like watching a snake charmer. He just does not let them guide the conversation at all, which is incredibly true. It's something I noticed. The Fox News host kept trying to redirect the conversation or pivot or guide it, and Mayor Pete would be like, no, I'm talking, I'm going to finish my point. Call to Activism said, holy moly, Pete Buttigieg is easily the best communicator Democrats have right now, and I absolutely agree. Now, is he going to be VP Harris's VP pick? I don't know, but I don't think he would be the worst choice. He can go out there and he can prosecute the case in such a successful way that I think he would win over a lot of young men, a lot of people that are already disillusioned with the Democratic Party. But either way, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, comment who you want VP Harris's VP pick to be. I really love to hear from you guys. I really appreciate when you guys give your insights. So leave a comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button, but most importantly, have a great rest of your day. Peace out.